My dad, a World War II veteran, very proud and very independent, would not accept Meals on Wheels for a long time. Finally, in the summer of last year, I convinced him that the opportunity was perfect and that he needed to have Meals on Wheels delivered. When he did, he loved it. I called him the first day and I asked him, I said, "Daddy, how did you do?" He said, "I loved the visit." I said, "How was the food?" He said, "I don't know what I had, but it was good." So needless to say, I was thrilled with my dad and his response to Meals on Wheels, because he had only told me that he would participate for 1 week. He grew to where he loved the visits from the volunteers.
I had run my route and I was on my last person to deliver to, and Mr. Carty. And so I went to the door and I knocked on the door, and the television was blasting away as usual, but the door was locked. And I knew that was very unusual because he always had his door unlocked for me. So I knocked and banged on the door and called out to him, and the man across the street came and banged on the door, and I telephoned him and he didn't answer. So I walked around to the back door and I banged on the door and I called out to him, and still no answer. And then one of the neighbors, she came up and she started calling out to him, and then I thought that I heard a faint noise, you know, a sound in the house. And so then I knew for sure that he was in there. And so I called Mills, and Meta answered, and I told her, and she immediately called the daughter.
Our family gave her permission to enter the home, and she found my dad, who had been there for at least 12 hours. He had fallen during the night.
Called Meta again, and she called EMS, 911, and they came out in about 10 or 15 minutes, and I stayed in there and assured Mr. Carty that help was on the way.
My dad is in the hospital now, and as much as we appreciate my father, we truly appreciate Meals on Wheels and what they did to save his life, because without you, he would not be living today.
Thankfully, every day is an emergency for Meals on Wheels volunteers. But when there is a problem, maybe a concern, the volunteers follow up with a call to the Meals on Wheels office. You know, last year alone, more than 1,000 lifeline calls were made on behalf of our recipients. Meals on Wheels is a lot more than a meal. At the end of each week, we can rest assured that more than 200 homebound people are fed and safe in their homes. Last year, Meals on Wheels volunteers delivered over 44,000, almost 45,000 hot meals to seniors in Pickens County. Meals are free to the recipients, and they're paid for by donations from the community. We don't receive any state or federal funding. The meals are purchased at cost from Easley Baptist Hospital, Cannon Hospital, and the Little Bistro. Volunteers deliver 20 different routes throughout Pickens County all year long. Volunteers, they're the ones that make Meals on Wheels special. It's their compassion that fills that space made by hunger and loneliness and isolation. Please help us keep our volunteers on the road by donating to Pickens County Meals on Wheels. With the increased funding, we can address the list of people who are still desperately waiting for a hot meal. Because of the generosity of the Foothills Gala, one entire route is completely funded for 2010. I want to thank you for your generosity and being here and your caring. Meals on Wheels couldn't exist without you.